I volunteer here, lady. I volunteer at a zoo as a docent. My job is talking to guests about the animals on exhibit, conservation efforts, and answering questions. My name tag says Sarah, volunteer, as in, I don't do this for money, it's because I care about conservation. Most people are very nice. A few times I've been mistaken for a zookeeper, but whenever I'm mistaken for an actual employee, I've never been treated with disrespect until this incident. I was working the gorilla exhibit and talking to a guest about the gorillas. She was asking me a lot of questions, which I happily answered. She smiled, thanked me, and went on her way when she was done. Right after she walks away, this woman in her 40s, I'm guessing, with 2 kids, one at each side, came up to me with a very smug grin and tone of voice. Lady, is this all you do, talk about gorillas? She said it as if she was about to launch into a "this is why we go to college, kids" talk with her kids. I just stared her in the eyes and smiled. Me, no, mom, I'm a volunteer docent. I answer guest questions and educate the public about the animals on exhibit and conservation efforts. I go to school at local college as a biology major when I'm not volunteering. I pointed to my name tag that says volunteer, and her face fell immediately. She went sort of white in the face. The smug tone disappeared, and she averted her eyes. Good work, she said half-heartedly, not looking at me before pulling her kids away from the exhibit. I'm still not 100% clear on what she was trying to do. I could have misunderstood her tone of voice, but it came off very smug and condescending. The hesitation I have over it is partially because what I was doing would seem like an odd job to be judging as low class considering I was literally educating other people, but IDK, man. Had an idle moment while telling an idle story. From 2010 until 2014 I worked a walk-in, 15 minutes a cut, quick style salon in the largest shopping center of an extremely small town. The salon was located 2 doors down from Dollar Store. For this story in particular, we also shared a parking lot with Walmart on one end and 4 fast food restaurants on the other end, all subjects for different stories. One cannot comprehend the amount of time I spent wandering the shopping center, mostly at the behest of others and getting paid for it. Being unmedicated, undiagnosed ad hoc, I completed my haircuts with speed and accuracy, all the while chatting up all clients, not just mine, doing chores and making store runs for the other girls. Even medicated now, I'm not very good at sitting still. I would volunteer for most side jobs and anything that got me out of the store. Being the youngest stylist with restless, anxious energies to spare, I tended to jump up to greet clients. I unwittingly stole a lot of haircuts. If it was slow and my co-workers needed to make up numbers, a lot of requests from different stores poured onto me. Didn't realize what they were doing until later, part of the reason I left. Anytime you wear an apron to a store with an apron and the uniform, you will get mistaken for an employee. It happened a lot to the other girls and myself, but this might have been due to the size of the town and family of faces. It doesn't seem to matter that the store's apron is bright green and mine is glitter black vinyl or zebra stripe or my favorite paisley one tie-dyed background. One such day I was standing in the back of the line at checkout, arms filled with candy, using my incredibly vivid apron as a sling to carry a verified crap ton of super cheap junk food. I turned to look for the child wailing in the distance of the store and confirmed it was a fit and not abuse. Child of a social worker, it's where my brain goes. When I turned back to face the line, I found the lovely elderly lady in front of me chuckling to herself. She met my eyes saying, "I just did the cartoon-like triple take when I saw you behind me." She giggles a little. I saw the apron when I looked for the crying baby. I started to turn back around to ask you something and realized your apron wasn't uniform. But then I had to really look at your apron. I think my daughter-in-law, who is a beauty operator, correct term, in the 50s, who would love it. I thanked for her compliment and wrote the name of the website I got the apron from down for her. She chuckled again about almost mistaking me for an employee. I told her it happens every other time I come in here, but most people are pretty nice when I tell them I don't work here. But I'm here often enough, I could probably find it anyway. She tells me that is very sweet, and then her eyes dart toward my shoulder. I realize someone has been clearing her throat behind me for some time. I thought it was the next costumer until she tapped my shoulder. I turned, arms filled with a diabetic coma. She steps back already turning red, realizing her mistake. She starts apologizing. The woman in front of me laughs so hard she has to lean on the counter for support. I try to explain to the Karen what we had just been talking about as she looks mortified. I explain the woman is laughing at the irony, not her mistake. I politely ask what she was looking for in the first place and sent her in that direction. She, again, apologizes and thanks me profusely, backing away. The lady and I start giggling to ourselves for both of our transactions. She came back to the salon with me and left me a $20 tip for your style, good attitude, and how you handle yourself. She was one of my regulars until I left some years later. Edited, for clarity, grammar and late night spelling. I was trying to streamline a little bit and ended up adding some more. I've been answering some questions in the comments. I'm currently a stay-at-home mom in a new area. I've been getting on this post all day to fix some of the spelling but got distracted actually talking to people who don't live with me. Thank you for the gold and silver kind strangers. No, I'm a paramedic, I don't work here. Years ago I was a paramedic and worked for a hospital in my city. My uniform was blue pants and a blue polo shirt with the name of the hospital, and it also says emergency medical services underneath that. So, I wear blue work pants with the extra pockets like cargo pants, and I have my stethoscope around my neck. I'm in the automotive section looking for light bulbs for my car. M equals me, D equals delusional lady, W Walmart manager. I'm on my phone chatting and looking up which part I need when someone taps me on the shoulder kinda aggressively, which immediately pisses me off. I turn around. D, where are the regular light bulbs at M blank stare because I was confused at first. D, I said, where are the regular light bulbs at? Yes, she started yelling at me, which pissed me. A 5 feet 9 inches 235 pounds muscular guy off. I only mention this because I was a gym rat back then and she was maybe 5 feet and 100 pounds on a good day. I pointed to my neck and my chest because, well, you treat me like an idiot. I reply in kind. D, what is that supposed to mean? I want to know where the light bulbs are at. M, did you see? D cuts me off. You want to get smart with me? Fine, I'll find your manager, you idiot. M, seeing red now, I yell at her, get the fuck out of my face and don't touch me again, bitch. She runs away and I go back to shopping. Q 2 minutes later, she's got a poor manager who looks flustered in tow and points to me. D, there's your employee. He threatened me. The manager looks at me and at her incredulously and says he's a paramedic. He doesn't work here. D, yes he does. Look at the uniform. I'm calling the cops. W, do what you want, but it's clear from his stethoscope and emblem that he's a paramedic, not one of our employees. D, he threatened me. You have it on camera. M, let's see the cameras where you approached me and started yelling at me first and then me yelling back at you but never actually approaching you. I think the police would be real interested in you physically touching me and technically assaulting me. D, well, I'm going to call you work and tell them what you did. M, go ahead. Here's a pen with our number on it. Ask for my boss. Before you do, know that I'm almost done school for something different and I am about to quit anyway. I hold the pen out to her and she mutters and huff and puffs away. W, are you okay? M, I'm fine. The manager just shakes his head and says, when you're done grabbing your stuff, I'll be at this section. I'll ring you up. It was close to the holidays, so the lines were super long because, well, it's Walmart. I got my things and check out in record time. As I'm leaving the store, I see the lady with a few items and the only lines open are the regular lines, no express. I walk by and hold up my bag and give her the biggest shit-eating grin and wave. Her face became redder than a tomato with anger, lol. TLDR, lady thinks I work there and screams at me and then threatens to call the police because I threatened her. I tell her to fuck off and go ahead, we will review the cameras so I can press charges. I then get to check out before her and piss her off one more time. Wholesome idol. This happened yesterday and was actually incredibly cute. I was at Petco getting some stuff for my fish and also admiring one of the chameleons. A lady with her 2-year-old daughter was watching the chameleon as well and started asking me questions. I think she was surprised that I knew the answers to her chameleon questions. And she said, "Do you work here?" Me, "No, I just have reptiles." Her, "Oh, well, would you mind telling us about the rest?" So that's how I gave a mini reptile lesson to her lady and her kid. She asked a lot of questions and ultimately seemed enamored with the baddies. Maybe she'll end up giving one a good home.